how is Tesla kind of impacting the automotive market and this kind of push towards EVs? Like you mentioned the casting. What are the areas from a technology standpoint that really is making them lead the way?
Well, their electronics are to die for. I mean, nobody has anything quite like them. They're half the size with about triple the power. In fact, if you look at ADAS, the ADAS unit, we're pretty sure that they're at 4.5 right now with the software that they've got. They may be even at 5 with the hardware, but they're not implementing it. And that rash or the problem with level 5 is lawyers. I mean, you get into things like, have you ever heard of the trolley predicament?
Is that who it has to save theoretically, or if there's someone in front of the trolley? Yeah, right. Yeah. So can you explain it just in case for anyone that might be listening who's not familiar with it?
Yeah. Okay. So you are standing in front of a stick or a controller that can change the trolley's direction in 3 different ways. So if you let the trolley do what it's doing right now, it's going to slam into about a dozen people. If you move the trolley to the right, that trolley will smash into a barrier. Obviously, the people in the trolley are going to have a bad day. And then if you switch it to the left, then you're going to run over a kid. He's going to be on the trolley and he can't be saved. So do you run over the child? Do you smash into the people because they shouldn't be on the track? Or do you drive the trolley into a deadhead? Okay, so what do you do? All right, well, any human being has got like a split second to make that choice. And, some bonehead, I was listening to someone give this speech about the trolley example, and some bonehead said, why'd you just step on the brake? Yeah, good job. So anyway, at the end of the day, this is the things that lawyers are salivating over. Can't win. These are no-win situations. Well, the lawyers can win, but they're no-win situations for the software. And these things have to be ironed out in the courts prior to level 5 being accepted on the planet. But I think that probably the Tesla is already sitting there comfortably at level 5. It's just that they don't push it out. I think they're at level 4 and a bit right now, based on my experiences with driving or having the car drive. So, yeah, but that's number one. So the number one thing is the electronics and the software that goes along with it. Second would be powertrain. I like their electric motors better than everybody's. They've got some magic stuff inside the castings. I already had a couple of guys come back and tell me, oh, we couldn't find it. Yeah, you didn't look hard enough, because we looked at the Model 3 castings and we looked at the Model Y castings, and that little teeny tiny ingredient, that little alloy, is in both of them. That alloy helps, it's probably helping in 2 ways. It probably helps the flow of the aluminum, but it's also doing something, it refracts somehow and makes a difference to the performance of the electric motor. So I like the electric motor a lot. And then I think they had the best batteries on the planet with the 2170s, and now with the 4680s. It's going to be a lot of catching up to do. So there are some companies who've got solid state batteries that I've looked at and I'm pretty excited about. But I haven't seen anybody that can compare with what Tesla has accomplished.
Yeah, I think one of the big announcements around that really wasn't hit on was just the fact that obviously there's the greater density, there's the great weight savings, but really everything I'm seeing is its ability to allow the cars to charge so much quicker because of its heat dissipation. Right. That I don't think people are fully realizing that. A lot of people believe just like electric vehicle drivers are kind of this small niche. there might be some more people, but once you kind of lower the barriers to the point at which it's almost as easy and quick as filling up a tank, it just seems like the value to go across that chasm and finally buy an electric vehicle has pretty much been removed. Going beyond the batteries, you've also kind of mentioned repeatedly the casting technology and kind of the alloys they're using. And I think a lot of people don't fully understand what makes this so different when it comes to the castings. And I know you've said it a couple of times on your show, but if you could just kind of really quickly just sum up why this is so important and why this is so different, especially for the automotive industry, I think that maybe really help a lot of people who are listening.
Yeah, well, Tesla is inventing their own alloys. They don't just subscribe to whatever's in the marketplace. They order their aluminum, and it's all special batch, and then they shoot it themselves. And I know to make the castings that are going into the Model Y right now, those are shot in milliseconds. People think that that's baloney, and I did initially as well, because I never heard. There's how do you make aluminum so viscous that you could shove it in that fast? But in essence, they're made in milliseconds, and it basically builds that whole area, the whole back end of the car, in a millisecond. There's virtually no machining done on it. There's some trimming that has to happen to get rid of the runners and gates and whatnot. But that's a millisecond, or let's say they can get them a second at a crack, okay? And then with the trimming and stuff like that, maybe another, I don't know, let's say at the outset, 30 seconds, all done. Okay, if I've got 50 pieces that I just replaced, that's 50 dies that have to be stamping product. And they're progressive dies. You can't just bend that aluminum into one, or that steel into one shape that quickly. Then you got to take those pieces and you got to put them together in a fixture, and then you got to weld them, and then you've got to on and on and on. Sometimes it's more than welding. Sometimes you have to put an adhesive or something in between them to weld them together, so they like an adhesive or something. All these things have to happen. It's going to take a lot longer than 30 seconds, a lot longer. But when I get done with the casting, it's going to be dead nuts perfect. When I get done with the weldment, it could be in a lot of different directions. Things happen when you weld products and stamp parts and stuff like that. It's different than one piece done. And Tesla has gotten to the point where they move the material so quickly, there's no induced stresses. And with no induced stresses, it means that it won't work. And if it doesn't work, guess what? It means it's going to be perfect every time. I don't have to heat treat those things. Mostly people have to put it into a T6 heat treat. And when you do that, then the induced stresses that you've got come free, but then you twist the casting. These don't have to be heat treated, so they don't have to, there's no chance that you're ever going to warp anything. Their casting technology is phenomenal, and in essence, this is a result of their outside interests. When I was at Ford, we had an aerospace division. We got rid of that because some guys from Harvard came over and said, "Focus on your core competencies." Okay, good. Get rid of seats. Gone. You should not be doing anything electronic. Get rid of that. You don't need it. It's nasty. You're going to save money. I can remember a guy giving a speech when I was a consultant with General Motors. And this guy was talking about the ultimate vehicle and the direction that GM should try and think about going. And in essence, what he said was that they would buy all the pieces and then from somebody else. And then we have somebody else put them all together, and there would be one guy, that's it, one union guy. And he would have the GM badge, whether it was Chevy or GMC or whatever, and he'd go, right on the nose of the car. Done. Finito. That's it. Are you kidding me? I mean, I remember listening to this guy, and I was sitting next to a vice president, and he leaned back and he said, I may have to sell my stock because, I mean, this is like stupid, absolutely stupid. But the guy in charge thought it was brilliant. This is great. We can get rid of all the people. We don't have to manage anything. Yeah, right. All we have to do is one part. You have to be careful about hiring consultants.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to visit our website, connectingthegrid.com. There you can listen to our podcasts, contact us about sponsorship, or even be a guest on Grid Connections. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a positive rating on your favorite podcast or video streaming service. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out a lot too. Thank you again, and I look forward to us learning more together soon.